Hi, everybody. It's Dennis with TSANet. Welcome to this video on TSANet Connect update. That's not me on the screen up there. That's Paul. He's going to walk you through the update, and he's got some interesting things to share with you. And this is one of these things that kind of continually is evolving, and we've been going now for a couple of years on this. So, and making a lot of progress. The members seem to like it quite well. So we're continuing to improve it. I think it's worth us going and diving in a little deeper. Let Paul give you an update on some of the things that are coming up. So Paul, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'll mute, and I'll let you take it from there.
Great. Thanks a lot, Dennis. Welcome, everybody, to the March 2021 TSANet Connect update. If you're new to TSANet Connect or new to TSANet in general, just a quick overview of what TSANet Connect is. It is a web app. It's really the way that most members experience TSANet, and it's the portal that you use to make a collaboration request with another member. So it's designed to be extremely simple. Obviously, your support engineers use a lot of other tools that have complicated processes. We made this as simple as possible. It has everything all integrated as far as escalation management, SLA monitoring, all of that type of stuff is all embedded in. And again, very focused around making a collaboration request and getting your engineer in contact with an engineer at the other member company. Just a quick overview of the Connect process. And again, this is really the high level view of TSANet Connect. It's a very simple 3-step handshake. Your engineer goes into the site. They find another member that they want to collaborate with. They complete the process form, which is very consistent now with all members. And then there's this quick little handshake. The receiving member receives either an email or it could be an API integration where it's automatically creating a case in their system. And their responsibility is to acknowledge that with an initial response, giving your engineer their case number, their assigned engineer, and methods for contact. And at that point, they're stepping outside of TSANet Connect and working the case within your own CRM system, with your own processes and your own policies. So again, very simple, very quick interaction with TSANet Connect, and then you're back to your system. So that's how TSANet Connect works. It does have many different ways to integrate to your systems. We have over 800 members now part of TSANet, so I would say a huge majority of those, probably 95%, are just using the standard email integration method. Maybe half of those members are using an email to case functionality of their CRM systems to automatically create cases, but we do have a few members that are leveraging APIs in their system for us to automatically create cases and get acknowledgement back. So it's very flexible for that. And obviously, as you get more familiar with the system, or you change your systems, or you want a little bit fancier automation, we have all those capabilities as well. Taking a quick look at the TSANet Connect timeline. Again, if you're kind of new to this, we did start TSANet Connect back in 2018. We developed the system. We did spend a lot of time with members through a technology committee, with the regional focus groups, with a lot of pilots. So that really, I feel, resulted in a very strong system that members really accepted. We spent all of 2019 deploying the system, so it was a phased approach. And then here in 2020 and 2021, the focus of the system is to improve member adoption. And you'll see was kind of continual improvement where we're taking feedback, iterating, making the system better and better. Just taking a look at the metrics, apologize for all the information on here. I just want to kind of highlight a couple things. You can see here the case volume from 2020 and then the case volume in 2021. I would say in 2020, we're somewhere around the 70, 75 cases per month average. You can see here a little fluctuation towards the end. 2021, we started out soft in the early month, but now you can see here in March, it's really picking up. In fact, I think we're going to be pretty close to hitting our goal of 100 cases per month. You can see where we're at in March already. So I do see it's trending up and up. As far as some of the things that we're doing to increase the volume, one of the things I've been talking about in the previous updates are removing the remaining members that are still on static documents. And we've been making great progress on that. I would say middle of 2020, we still had a couple dozen members that were still on static process documents. Now we're down to 4. And I think we'll be exiting this half with only 1 or 2. So we're really getting to the point where we have 100% of members that are on the TSANet Connect method. And then off here to the top open group members, you can see the volumes and the members that are kind of driving this. I kind of highlighted the top 5, and I would say they all have similar things in common that are really driving their usage and value out of TSANet. They all have partner programs. They all have very good awareness programs with engineers, and they all have a very high focus on making sure the customer experience is good, and obviously multi-vendor support and making sure that customers get solutions in complex environments are part of that as well. So I'd say all these vendors kind of share those same traits. So then taking a look at the March release, this is a release that we just closed. We had a few things here. I'm just going to highlight a couple of important ones here. We had a couple of issues with some browser versions and a couple issues that maybe were not seen by a lot of members. So I would put those in the bug fix category. So you can see some things with the Macintosh Safari browser, some issues with login. So some of those things are probably things you don't see, but part of making the system as bug-free as we can make it. We did make some improvements, and you will see this being a focus in the July release as well. Really starting to take a look closer and closer at data privacy, GDPR, security of the system. That's really becoming more and more important to members. So we made some improvements there. We also made some improvements with the partner sign-up process. As you know, a lot of the members that I highlighted that are getting a lot of volume out of TSANet, they have large partner programs. And one of the things that we were finding was that we were missing the ability to validate the inbound process for that partner. So we've added that. So now all partners that are onboarded through partner programs do have their inbound process validated with a test case. And that's really proven to be helpful. We also made quite a few improvements in the admin interfaces. So you'll see some improvements there as far as, how you're able to search for users, how you're able to do things from an admin side, and then a couple of things that help TSANet admins. And obviously there's not many of us, but we made improvements to allow us to help test forms and view forms and things like that. So that was the March release. We also did a few things as far as new resources for admins. If you go to the resources URL here, you'll see a lot of content, a lot of these training videos, a lot of videos you see here, not videos, but documents that talk about TSANet Connect security or support process, business continuity, how you do single sign-on. But we added 2 new documents this half that should be very beneficial. The first is the inbound process best practices. It really talks about all the different things that some of our members have done for their inbound process and really kind of highlighting what we feel are our best practices there. That's certainly worth a look. And then the second, if you are running a partner program or thinking about a partner program, we now have a partner program playbook. So that really kind of walks through a little more structure in, how do you get a partner program up and going? How do you maintain it? And you'll see a lot of that stuff is really just, in a lot of cases, highlighting what TSANet staff do to help you manage that partner program. So those are new resources for admins in TSANet Connect. So then moving on into the July release for TSANet Connect. We've got a few things here, and I will say the overall theme for July is really system security and system stability. So you can see the very first one we're taking a look at the entire software stack update and everything. So as you saw, the system was developed in 2018. Certainly, we've got patches and things along the way, but there's been some major releases for some of the software packages that we use. So everything will be updated. We are making improvements to the security system. So some enhancements to adding cloud firewall, taking a look at failed login attempts, a couple other things with the user setup that will be improving security. We do plan to integrate the regional focus groups, Microsoft Teams experience with TSANet Connect. Again, that will be a lightweight integration, but it'll give managers that are already members of regional focus group an easy way to quickly get to their Microsoft Teams sites, and also a way for members that maybe aren't part of regional focus groups to see that we have those and quickly request to be added to that. We're going to be enhancing the search with search tags. I'll talk a little bit more about what we've been doing with search analytics because I think that's a key part of the support engineer experience to make sure that when they search for a member, they find them. We'll talk about that, but tags will certainly help in that. And then we are moving our email delivery to Microsoft Exchange service. This is really designed, again, around this improving security and reliability. We have our yearly penetration testing from an outside firm that's going to be taking place. And then the last two are a good segue into really a major initiative that we have going on, which is to get the TSANet Connect platform ISO 27001 certified, which is really kind of the gold standard of system security and something our members have been starting to ask for. In fact, some are really making it a requirement and something that we feel we need to get for the system. So that's certainly going to bring several improvements to the areas of system administration, monitoring, and of course we talked about security stuff as well. So that's really the focus of the July release. So moving in a little more detail of ISO 27001. If you're familiar with it, this is probably quick review, but if you're not, hopefully it gives you a sense of really what's involved in getting ISO 27001 certification. We kind of have this stage that we're going through now, where we are creating our information security management process. We're identifying any types of issues that we find in the system that would prevent certification. We're doing some training, we're doing internal audits, and again, we're kind of this continuous improvement, maybe from the inside out, really again focused on reliability, security, all the kind of basics of the system that you are going to want to have moving forward. And then we go into the stage where we've got BSIs who are contracted to come in and do the certification. We have a pre-assessment stage. We have then a stage where you can take a look at our program management of, again, the information security management process. And then there's a two-stage audit process that's taken place as well. And all of this is designed to get us our ISO 27001 certification by the end of August. And obviously along the way here, I highlighted in the next release, there's going to be a lot of time and energy devoted to making sure that the system is at the level where we can get that certification. But one thing to keep in mind too with ISO 27001, it is a continuous improvement process. So it's not one of these things where we go and get the certification and then we're done. It is continual. So each year we continually have these audits. So you'll see this continuing improvement process, which will be added really to our roadmap, and we'll certainly share information on that as we move forward as well. So expect to see more detail on the ISO 27001 project here in the next TSANet Connect update. Okay, so then the other area that we've been spending time on is to improve the TSANet Connect adoption. As I talked, we did a lot of things in 2020. These we feel are really kind of the key parts of getting adoption up right. And this is to make sure when an engineer uses a system, they feel that they've been successful, right? So we're making sure it's easy to use. So 2020 was a lot of iteration and really kind of getting the system right and working on any type of bug or issues that engineers are reporting. So we feel we've got that one in place. So really this year, we're spending time to get some feedback from engineers. We're doing training for support engineers. I'll talk a little bit more about that. So really trying to get that next level of feedback and awareness from the support engineers. The second area is making sure that when the engineers go in and search, they're able to find their partners. We had a huge effort in 2020, and it continues into 2021, where we've been adding more partner programs, adding more members. In fact, our membership count now is starting to pass the 800 number, which is really, a lot of growth year over year. I'd say 100 plus members each year. What we're spending time on now is with the search analytics. So what we're doing, we have the ability to go in and look at what are the search terms, what search terms result in a successful click-through. So now we're able to kind of take a look and see, are people searching for companies that do not exist on our platform? Are people searching for companies that do exist, but they're searching using different keywords? Are they searching for companies they may not have a relationship with? So we're really starting to take that now and driving actions for that. And you saw one of the actions in the July release was to add search tags, right? So now, for example, if somebody's searching for a particular product instead of a company, we can add that tag to that account or the department to help the user find that. So we do see that a couple times where people are searching for products instead of actual vendors. So improvements like that, as well as taking a look at, are people searching for companies that are not on the platform? And again, that drives leads and those types of things. And then the last thing is to make sure when you submit a request, you get a response. We did a lot of work in 2020 as far as really getting the system where once you press that submit, you pretty much guaranteed a response. We've got a good escalation process embedded in the system, but we also added an escalation process that involves TSANet staff. So we make certain that you get a response. And then also you saw there in the March release, we've also added now for limited members a test to make sure that their inbound process works. So we've done quite a bit to make sure that when you fill out that form and press submit, you do get a response. So really our last piece here is to remove any remaining static documents. As I indicated, we were at a couple dozen at this point last year. Now we're down to 4. And I feel we'll be at the point here where we're exiting this half with 1 or 2. And again, the goal is to really end this year with 0 static processes. So everyone is using the TSANet Connect method. So moving into training, we started this in Japan. In fact, we've completed 4 sessions. It was one of the key pieces of feedback we got from the Japan regional focus group. Their managers were insistent that, hey, the system works, it's great, but really to get our engineers to use it, they kind of need that formal training. Just awareness isn't going to help. They really need to experience the system, maybe do a test case before they'll feel comfortable going in there and doing it during a live session. So we completed 4 training sessions with Japan. I felt those were all very successful. It is a 30-minute training session. It's designed for support engineers and it includes some demo and hands-on. So we make certain before the engineer gets off that they are able to log in and they can send a test case to myself so they kind of fully experience that handshake and get confidence in the system and how simple it is to use. So felt that piloting it in Japan worked very well. And you can see these dates now set up for all the other regional focus groups. This is what I would call the first wave of training. We'll communicate these through the regional focus group. We're kind of allowing member companies that are participating in regional focus groups to kind of have first priority dibs on these training sessions. They are going to be public. You can ask for training sessions just for your company, but what we're finding is that actually works a little better if your engineers come on and join and they see 3 or 4 other companies on there. It gives them a sense that, hey, yes, this is multi-vendor thing, and I'm sitting on here with my peers from other companies, and we feel that the training works really well like that. So you'll see all of these being communicated through the regional focus group. If you're not part of the regional focus group, please reach out to me, Paul at TSANet.org. I'll either get you on the regional focus group or communicate these directly to you. And then probably as we get into the summer, we'll start to open these up for all members. But for this first phase, it's really focused on the regional focus group members. Okay, so closing off here, just taking a look at the next steps moving forward. The big one is to get ISO 27001 certification. That is keeping everyone here at TSANet extremely busy. It's very comprehensive, so that's going to take up a huge portion of our time. We talked about moving the remaining members from static to TSANet Connect process, so that's a top priority for us. We're going to hold the regional training sessions. You saw the dates on that. Again, first phase targeted at the regional focus groups, but those will move into really kind of regular public training as well. We are going to continue to improve the system, getting feedback from users, focusing on things that'll drive usage. We continue to work on any type of escalation. So again, this is back to the point of making sure when you make a request, you get a response. So any type of issue, we are working there, trying to find root cause, making sure you get a response. And really, last but not least, and you'll hear more about this in the next TSANet update here later in the year, is we will be moving into the next strategy session, 2022 and 2023. The assumption is there would be some type of we'll call it a major version for TSANet Connect. So you saw there 2018, we designed the first system, the first kind of core set of features. The next few years have really been refining, improving, stabilizing, adding security. I think as you go into the next session, we'll be taking a step back and seeing what other major features. So if you want to be involved in that, certainly reach out to me as well. And with that, we are done, and I'll open it up to see if we have any questions.
And thanks, Paul. I very comprehensive. I don't have any questions, but a couple of things that I wanted to mention. Why don't you address real quickly, because we get this all the time about companies wanting to do at least some simple integration of a Salesforce or a ServiceNow, that kind of thing. Why don't you walk them through because I think it's a lot simpler than people think that it's going to be, right? So maybe kind of walk through some of the steps that we do, our recommendations and timeframes that are involved in that.
Perfect. So I would say all of the systems you mentioned, right? Salesforce, Zendesk, ServiceNow, any type of, we'll call it leading edge hosted platform is going to have native features on it that allow a email to case integration. And that's extremely simple, right? That's the type of thing that your sysadmin can set up in a short period of time. You're talking, usually less than an hour to get that type of functionality going. And then they're basically just taking our emails that we're sending in and automatically creating a case for it. So I would say that level of integration is extremely simple. The next level that you can do is you can automate that handshake coming back. And I would say we probably have a dozen or so members that are doing that. We have a very clearly defined method for doing that. You'll find that in the inbound process best practice. So again, that can automate that acknowledgement coming back. And it's the type of thing where if your system supports automated emails based on certain triggers, and again, all those systems Dennis mentioned certainly do that. You would do something like when the case is assigned, send an email back to connect@tsanet.org with the following information in the following format. So all of these systems have the ability to do that type of a triggered email response as well. So that's really where we see almost every member doing their integration. It keeps away from the more complicated things such as an API integration. But if you want to do an API integration, we can certainly do that as well. But I would say you're going from something that takes hours into something that certainly requires a bit more planning. But again, it's not a weeks-long project. Usually it's a defined API on your side that we integrate to. So most of the work is on our side. But again, there's more security and more system validation, that type of thing, with a more direct API approach. So I think spend time on the email first.
And it's fair to say, right, that's the best place to start, right? Just do that simple integration. Let's see because the call volumes are relatively low anyway, right? So is it worth that justification, right? That's one
exactly. And I would say one of the big things that we've learned is the best members and their best inbound process usually has a human looking at it before assignment to an engineer, right? These things tend to be complicated. These things tend to be more in the escalation category. So to think you're going to kind of take one of these things in, just put it to your open queue and let anyone grab it is probably not a good idea. Still probably good to bring it in, have some level of oversight in what is this, where should it go, is it against an existing case, just look at it before you assign it to the wrong person. So I would say stick away from pure automation on this if you can, certainly at first.
Okay, and then one last question. We got just a couple of minutes left, but I think it's important to kind of address this. For our premium members, they can do single sign-on, right? So maybe walk them through, because that is also something that you'd think would be difficult, and it's turned out to be really simple on our side.
Yeah. So nowadays, all these new systems, Okta, one login, there's a few other systems, right? Again, it's configuration, right? So there's no deep IT work involved there. It's usually we have a 30-minute online call with your IT group. We exchange some keys on both sides. We do some quick tests, and it's done. So it is very, very straightforward nowadays with single sign-on. We support the SAML 2.0, which is the default standard everyone uses. So I would say if you're an environment that uses single sign-on, definitely reach out to me. We find it very easy to get that set up for you.
Outstanding. I don't have anything else. Thanks for your time. Appreciate the extra questions there at the end. And we'll get this recording out to everybody in case you didn't make this. I think there's some really good information on it. And we'll let everybody go. Have a very good day. Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.